Hi, everyone. This is Sunette here to conclude the mirror redefining and living of self. Well, it's actually a two-in-one combination of a mirror and also a reflection. See, what I've also come to realize in this mirror reflection relationship and process is that it's not only the mirror that reflects who I am, it is also my world in relation to the people I interact with and kind of unite in a moment of communication and participation because even when I'm communicating with other people, the same or similar type of thoughts and inner dialogue and reactions would come up as what would come up in front of the mirror. So it would be interesting for you to also start mapping out and seeing how your world, much of your world, reflects a lot of who you are and what you're accepting and allowing as your self reflection, your self definition, how you experience yourself, how you stand as. I mean, it's fascinating that you can, even just in how you stand in front of a mirror, see what your presence is like, what your experience is like, what are you resonating as who you are. So from something as simple as a mirror, you get a more direct, look into who I am inside your mind in relation to your personal relationship with yourself. And that's been a pretty cool reference as well. So you can use your mirror wherever you are as a foundation to assist and support you in your process of developing your relationship with yourself. Like, who are you and what are you living as who you are? So, continuing with the redefining and living process, this one is a bit more different to what we usually do and how we're approaching redefining and living words. But because the mirror and the reflection of self happens constantly, is actually, in fact, a constant ongoing process, it is best to, let's say, quantify this process of change within yourself when and as you see these trigger points of self-judgment, comparison, not good enough, perfectionism, competing with yourself, comes up within. And we don't realize how, let's say, that moment of being in front of the mirror, let's give you a perspective of a then and now in relation to my own process. What's the other thing that I also dealt with a lot? All right, here's one scary one that also was, interestingly enough, very challenging for me to walk through in my life was when I'd stand in front of the mirror. What would come up in my mind was what everyone else would think and say. Different people. Now, the problem was that all the different people that came up in my head about me, about what I look like, about, everything that in my own eyes seems imperfect, not good enough, wrong, negative, and bad, it would be in contradiction to one another. So it would literally be like a congregation of people in my head that I created talking about me and arguing and fighting. And I'm like standing in the middle of it all going, what the hell must I think of myself now? Where am I in it all? If that's happening in my head to such an extent, I mean, how long in my life have I given value to what other people say? And I know there's many people who, for example, go, I don't care what people think of me. I don't care what people say about what I wear and how I dress. But you know what I even found? Look, if you look at how I say it, like, I don't care what other people think of me or how I dress. I mean, you shouldn't care about that. It's usually done with this like almost a personality to it. And I've been there myself as well, realizing I actually cared the most when I said that. I shifted myself into a personality, a massive suppression, to create like a sort of outsider. I'm going to be different. I'm going to be my unique, my individual, so that I can box myself in to only my definition and I don't care what anyone else thinks or says. When when you are actually content and comfortable with yourself, it's not really something you announce. Plus, it's not about just saying to someone, don't worry about what others think of you or say about you or what you wear and things like that. It's actually about realizing that if someone does care so much, there's actually something more going on. And they could utilize some understanding, support, and assistance in realizing that there's so much more to self and who you are and how you can create yourself in thought, word, and deed through words. So here we'll also have a look at that kind of a polarity of negativity that can come up in relation to I don't care, also a personality. And realize that it's not about anyone or anything else, not about others caring or not caring. It is about you creating a relationship with yourself and being able to stand in front of that mirror and even in the mirror of your own mind and be comfortable and content and proud of who you are as a person. Even if mirrors didn't exist in this world, imagine that experience of finding that peace within yourself, of having pieced yourself back together again in relation to what you reflect as who you are within yourself. All right, so everyone take it day by day, take it post-it by post-it, moment by moment. It might be challenging in the beginning and difficult, yes. For me, it was like when placing those post-its, it feels, you kind of go through it and you're like, you don't want to see it. So you almost don't want to do it because a part of you already knows, the most spiteful, vile, really horrible things that we can think about ourselves and accept and allow. And also with having so many other people in your mind that you don't know who you are anymore is actually as bad as it sounds and as bad as it might feel in those moments and those experiences, and also however bad that mirror might look initially. At least you know where you're at with yourself now, okay? That's always the best to know. Where am I at with myself? Where do I stand with myself? That's also the question that we're answering within this process. And with knowing that, you've actually empowered yourself to go, okay, I've got the specifics, I've got the detail, I've got everything I need. I can see everything direct and specific. I'm not hiding anything from myself anymore. Now it's time to take this on piece by piece, one by one, and finally find that inner peace and contentedness and comfortability that I've actually always been wanting and searching for and seeking for. The belonging, the being part of, the yearning to be noticed, the desire to be loved and wanted. It is fascinating, and it will be eye-opening for every single one who dare walks this process to realize that all of those feelings and experiences has stemmed from the fact that you have given none of that to yourself, nor lived any of that for yourself, in yourself and your everyday life. So why also, all the people in my head was ever so challenging, and all the post-its was because now everything becomes emphasized. You start really noticing and seeing in your world out there where you are doing the exact same things in environments, situations, and with people. It does become overwhelming, but I've realized it only becomes overwhelming if I'm not stepping in fast enough. Meaning, if I notice that pattern or post-it or people in my head, I immediately just take a breath, use whatever technique works for you. Affirmation, breathing, calming, music, whatever centers you inside yourself to get a stable balance within you, an equilibrium, to go, right, this is the problem I'm working with and this is how I'm changing it. Okay. Please remember to every day not go look in that mirror with all the problem post-its on it. Not problem meaning the past self post-its on it. Do past self post-its with one color and, kind of overlay it with your change, the living word that you're going to be changing into. And eventually what you could even do is make it like a self-relationship project, where whenever you have changed post-its from the past self to the new living word, you can take them off. Because now you see the self in the mirror that you're satisfied with. So you remove the post-its as you remove the programmings, the patterns, the emotions that have caused you to not see yourself. And in this exercise, you then eventually, in time, as you remove it post-its by post-its, you get to seeing yourself right there in the mirror of yourself, as is. All right, everyone. Thank you very much. Thank you for listening and joining.